Good morning, happy Monday. I'm going to get straight to the point with this video because in itself it has been a process and that feels really relevant. When we intend to do something, we go through a cycle and obviously we have that initial thought there. So this morning I woke up with, I'm going to do a video for the week. I received a few little insights on what it would be about and sat down to do it. And this is my third attempt. Because the first attempt was to do with what the video would be about. The second attempt was very much to do with what I didn't need to include in it. And now the third attempt, here we are, everything has changed. And an example, I have used so many sprays and cards in each attempt of these videos that now I literally just have soul star energy and magenta bridge. So let's just bring that energy down, shall we? That feels like the emphasis this week. A couple of days ago, whilst cleaning my home and cleaning my garden, my medicine bundle fell open. At the time, what fell out was a Lemurian crystal and 2 Moki marbles, masculine and feminine. And that's enough, really. That in itself is a message that the higher energies this week are very much needing to be grounded, very much linked to our intuition and our action. Of course they would be. We've had Mars doing everything and a new moon coming and All Hallows Eve and energy all over the place. It feels really important to stay focused on what is occurring now. Yes, be aware of how far we've come. Yes, be aware of where we'd like to go, but being really aware with what is going on now. Without that, the other 2 aspects are non-existent. If we don't realize or connect to what is occurring in this moment, we're never going to realize how far we've come. And that we're trying to achieve is going to seem like a lifetime away. If I had known 2 decades ago what asking for physical, mental, spiritual and emotional health would actually lead to, well, it's like a lady in labour. She doesn't start thinking about that labour the moment she conceives. It's as the process gets closer that it begins to dawn on her what is being asked. We can have inklings. We can have a little insight of someone that may have done it before us or a normal process, but it's not until we're actually in that moment that we realize what is being asked of us. And that feels important this week. It feels like all the cards are on the table. It feels like anything is actually possible, which is wonderful. But that can really make us run ahead of ourselves. So really coming back to now at every opportunity, coming back to now. Tapping into the energy and the potential that is there when we just connect to the earth beneath us, connect to our physical body. Next year in particular has come through, as I've mentioned before, as the year of hope. And hope comes from achieving physical results. Faith comes from belief, which comes from something happening. Miracles. Miracles come from taking small steps towards what it is we are trying to achieve. And staying the course, remaining determined, putting in the work. Miracles can be as long or as short as needed, and the needed part is us. So this morning in our group, it is Magical Monday, and I will put the link for the details in the comments. Magic isn't always about what is going on outside of us. We can often look around to try and find the magic and not realize that we are the initiators, we are the magicians. So like the Lemurian crystal, like the Moki marbles, very much this week in particular, higher energies coming down through us into the earth, as above, so below. That really feels like key. And when we acknowledge that self-mastery, when we attune to that potential within us, the miracles can be quicker, easier, with more grace. That means getting over ourselves. So the last week or more, itchy nose, the last week or more, I have wanted more from my physical body for the work that I've been putting in, more from my relationships for the work that I've been putting in, more from work for the work that I've been putting in. And my human, egoic self expected to sit back and have that given as a birthright. You know, I'm at this level, I've reached this next level, this is what I expect. When we use the medicine wheel in this, we come to the place of West, Otorongo, Jaguar, and she has been with me this weekend showing me a few home truths, which makes me feel quite emotional, showing me my own perception on what I give and what I get. So there's an age-old saying that you get what you give. This morning, very clearly, I was shown, individually and collectively, this is kind of skewer, that we are only giving what we are getting. And that's understandable. Sometimes we get to a point of exhaustion. Sometimes we get to a point of we feel that we are giving and giving and giving and getting not what we deserve back. And that's because we've grown. But what we then expect is the energy we have been giving to grow so that we can get more. When in fact we grow and therefore give more in order to receive more. So if we are giving at the level that we always have and yet asking for more, you can see the discrepancy there. When we give with limitations, we get with limitations. So for argument's sake, the relationships in my life are tickling my head. The relationships in my life at present, I'm only, or believed I could only give a certain amount because of everything that was going on, and distracted with this and feeding my energy into this and da. I had become out of balance. And in the areas that I wanted to manifest the most, so my relationships, I had put less energy into them, expecting them to give me back what I had invested. Now, that is like looking at a seed and expecting to find a harvest without watering it. Again, we get what we give. If we want more, we give more. Now, the last decade in particular, self-care has been a huge buzzword, and codependency, and well, if you give too much and you don't get enough back, and I totally agree to an extent. This morning, very clearly, I received, if I wanted physical results, I needed to put in the physical work. We can spend a lifetime believing someone should do more than someone else, or someone should do give what they've been getting, or we can get very caught up in that egoic view of energy. And that puts limits on it. It does. So that flow has now become blocked. Or we can look at what's going on in our life, determine that we want more, determine that we are worth more, and acknowledge that that means we need to be more. So when we manifest, when we ask for something, we can be very aware of the process on a more human, physical level. This is what I'm asking for. What many of us don't see until the bigger picture is that that can be very dependent on several factors, several layers. Our mind, our emotions, our spirituality, our desires, and physical results. Physically, this is normally the last layer to be healed, to achieve results, to, when you go to the gym and exercise and you may potentially want to lose weight or become healthier, we look at what we eat, how we drink, what exercises we do, and it's the physical results that come last. And normally the hardest. So we can conceive, be it a baby, be it an idea, be it a relationship. We can feed and we can nurture. And when it comes to birthing the next stage of that, That's when it becomes the most difficult. That's when it needs that last oomph of energy. And ironically, that's normally when we have the least, when we have put in so much work that we question what it is we have left to give. And that's when we grow, because we stop giving from a comfortable level and we have to dig deep and find that yearning, dig deep and find that passion, dig deep and find that we are trying to manifest, that belief, that hope that is coming through for next year. We need to restoke the fire within us. We need to find that energy and that passion, not from those outside of us, but from our connection to our body, to our place here, and to where it is we are hoping to go. And rebuild that, keeping that in our mind's eye, because that's how we find the light at the metaphorical end of the tunnel, the hope, the birth, the delivery. That's where we find self-mastery, not from outside, but from a belief in ourselves that we did it. That can only come from being present here, because then when we are in the moment, we can realize the steps that got us here. And all those moments when we thought that we couldn't do it, and we did. All those times where we believed we were at the end of our rope, and we weren't, we continued. Because then that big distance to where we want to go gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and much easier to achieve. So with that in mind, I'm going to draw one card, and I'm going to draw them from the Archangel Metatron, Self-Mastery Oracle. And it's going to be what is it that can help us this week? I hear forgiveness. I hear forgiveness. I feel so much energy directed towards what could have happened, what did happen, what people did give, what they didn't give, the old story. And if we can just bring that energy, condense it, and focus it on where we want to go, the process will be much quicker. Forgiveness, letting go of all of that. And if you can't do it for those outside of you, no pressure there, but for yourself. When we forgive, we are ultimately releasing ourselves as well. Oh, beautiful. Two beautiful, beautiful cards here. As I was shuffling, I could hear the song Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra. And then I thought about the moon, and the moon is very dense gravity. Yeah, we need those real heavy suits to walk on the moon. Our bodies, our physical bodies, give us all the answers that we need, like the Moki marbles, our masculine and our feminine are united within us. Our intuition comes from here, and our actions come from here. Our past, our future, all in the present, all in our bodies. So how this week can we manifest the miracles that we are trying to achieve? Can we gain the physical results? By connecting to the very vessel we're asking to achieve them, our bodies. The card that I've pulled is Clarity, and it speaks of going within. Okay, really, really connecting to our physical self. There feels like an energy of mastery coming in, and not coming in. Our awareness of it is increasing. It's always been there, and our awareness of it is increasing because we have grown. We have grown, and we continue to grow. Now, in order to connect to masters, we connect to that energy within us. In order to connect to crystals, we connect to that specific energy within us. In order to connect to the tarot, we connect to that particular energy within us. We embody. Reiki we become attuned to, healing modalities we become attuned to. It is the same with masters. In order to connect to them, we connect to our own self-mastery, because that is ultimately the aim. To do that, we go within. I love the colours, the blue and the white in particular. It feels very Lemurian, very high energy coming in, a lot of potential. And what I really enjoy is right next to it, Kundalini, untapped energy. So I just want to show you those two together. Yeah, by going within physically, we're almost tapping into that mastery, that fire, that connection to source, to our past, our present, our future, the earth beneath us and the spirit above us, as above, so below. By going within the masculine, the feminine, we allow that high energy to come down and be what it is, be what it wants to be. Is there anything else to add to this? I'm really tempted to look into in the book that comes with this. And I feel like that might come up this week, to go back to the book. When we go back to the book, we're going back to the story, someone else's story. So tap into that energy that comes from just going within and finding your own messages here. Okay, so I'm going to really hold these up. Okay, and I want you just to take a moment to look at them. What do you see? I see shadow, I see light, I see peace, I see fire, I see action and passiveness. I see union here. And the untapped energy that comes from connecting them all together. When we give to a situation, we are giving to ourselves. When we work at a relationship, we are doing it for ourselves. When we go to the gym and exercise, we are doing that for ourselves. Everything we do ultimately comes back round to the self. With that in mind, if the mind starts to say, I've given this, I've given that, have a really good look at it. Where does it come from? Is it from a place of knowing you are going to grow? Is it from a place where you have no fire there and you have had enough? Is it aligned? Are your masculine and feminine aligned? Because you are the bridge to what it is you're trying to achieve. Everything you put in, you will get back. Because you deserve it and you've put in the work. Let go of any old beliefs that stand in the way of that now. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. Know that you are worth it. Know that the biggest thing you can do for self-care is to realize what you want is achievable, but that you need to do the work for it. Take care. Bye.